Hey, it's Jim again with Freedom Diggers Metal Detecting. Have you forgotten about me? Well, of course you haven't, because this is the channel without all the extra foo-foo nonsense and cute pop-ups and intro songs and all that. This is just straight, raw information, advice, and tips to keep you successful when you're out there enjoying the best hobby ever, metal detecting. So let's get right on it. Today, we're going to talk about using tone versus numbers when you're out there swinging your machine. Now, what do you mean by using tones instead of numbers, Jim? Numbers are just so critically important. I always look at them. Well, yeah, they are. But as you become more advanced at the hobby here, you're going to probably find yourself listening to those tones a lot more. And it is a good idea to develop that skill. I found myself developing that skill kind of by accident, really. So I'm going to explain to you a little bit more about it. What hunting by tone means is hearing the difference between how different targets sound. And even on a machine with a limited number of tones, you're still going to see a difference between how targets sound. Even targets with the same kind of tone will give you a subtle difference that helps you describe what's down there underneath your coil a few inches or more. I'll give you an example, and it's one that I've noticed with both my White's MX Sport and my current Equinox 900. Take an aluminum screw cap and a piece of shredded aluminum can, what we like to call can slaw. When you swing over both of these, they're going to give you a pretty similar tone. Probably a mid-range, might be on the high side, depending on the size of them. And you're gonna, if you're looking at numbers, probably about the same number. You're gonna dig that up right away. Well, if you're listening to the tone, it'll give you a clue about which one's which. For instance, that aluminum screw cap is gonna give you a lot more clear sounding tone, kind of coin-like. That's why a lot of people get fooled by these aluminum screw caps. And those do give you a little bit of a hint if you narrow your swing. I call it target scrubbing. If you make fast, narrow swings over it, when your coil comes off the edge of that cap, it's going to give a little blip that almost describes what it's like for the signal field to come off the edge of that cap. Now the can slaw, you swing over that, and if you swing and you're turning 180 degrees in both directions, or even going in a complete circle as you swing back and forth, that tone is gonna try to describe the shape of that shredded can slaw. It's gonna be more choppy. It's going to have a lot of variation in like the pitch of it. Because you could have the same tone, but how high it varies is going to almost describe the shape. Try to make a mental note in your head, of course, right? That's where mental notes are made. All right, stop it, Jim, just stop it. Of the results that you're getting when you dig up different targets. This is why it's kind of good when you're new at this to dig up everything, but it's only productive if you are paying attention to how things sound when you're digging up all this stuff. Make a note of it. Then you're going to remember the next time you hear that weird choppy tone, you're going to be like, oh yeah, that's the sound my machine makes when I cut my finger on a piece of sharp bent aluminum. Well, you should be wearing gloves. I got a video on that too. But This is going to help you out in a variety of ways. And one of the best benefits to this is you're going to dig less junk. You really are. Once you get a feel for how different targets sound, you're going to be able to walk away from a lot more of them that are probably a waste of time. If you only have about an hour to an hour and a half to go out and sneak in a hunt before your wife finds out you're gone, my wife is totally cool with that. I can go anytime I want. But let's say you have a situation like that. You want to make the most out of your time. So you don't want to be out there digging up all this junk. I have a video that kind of helps out with that, and I'm going to segue a little bit into how that helps. One of the benefits of hunting by tone is that you can get an idea for the size of what you're about to go after with your shovel. It will report over a larger area. If you swing over something and you're getting a tone over an area the size of a soccer ball, chances are it's a flattened out piece of crap that you probably don't want to dig up. It's going to depend on what kind of area you're in, of course, but in a public park, you really don't want to be digging a hole big enough to recover something like that. Now, I have a video on that called How to Dig Less Junk Metal Detecting. It's one of my more popular ones because it's got some great information, but it's going to show you how to size things using your metal detector, and that's where tone does come into play. When you're getting a tone over a larger area, it's going to tell you the size of it. Now, if you're getting a nice, tight, almost a chirp, high tone chirp over a small area, chances are you got a nice coin down there. You can make a nice tight plug and go after it. Best of luck on that one every time, though. I'm getting to the point where I can almost predict what I've got down there before I even dig it. Sometimes it amazes people that kind of shadow me and tag along with me. Like last night, I had my son-in-law tagging along while I poked around in the neighborhood here, just out in front, little curb strip work, you know. And he was like, "How'd you know that was a dime?" And I'm like, "You can hear it. You can just hear it." So keep in mind, going back to that, is that a tone doesn't care about the size, cares more about the size of something than a number. Number is just going to tell you, okay, it's highly conductive and it's non-ferrous. That's it. That's all it's going to tell you. And you're going to swing over, you get a 72. You're like, ooh, 72. That's usually a penny or something. And then you dig it up, and guess what? That 72 is the hiney end of a aluminum beer can. Why did you get fooled like that? Well, because you didn't check it out by sizing it. So learn that skill. It's going to save you a lot of headache, and guess what it's going to save you too is some neck ache. Because if you're spending less time looking down at the screen and using your ears, you're going to be a lot better off at the end of your hunt. And with that, I'm going to say this is the end of this video. You guys get out there, swing them coils, and pop some nice plugs that are invisible when you're done so we can always keep it. Dig for your die with no permits ever required. We'll see you next time on Freedom Diggers Metal Detecting. Thanks a lot for watching.